Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Officials in Memphis on Friday released body video from the violent arrest of Tyre Nichols, a 29-year-old black man whose death earlier this month has led to second-degree murder charges against 5 officers who were fired over the incident. Nichols died 3 days after what his family and authorities described as a brutal encounter that stemmed from a traffic stop. The 4 videos posted on the City of Memphis Vimeo account shortly before 7 p.m. Eastern Time was taken from police body cameras and the street surveillance cameras. They show officers first removing Nichols from a vehicle after pulling him over, an intentional struggle when Nichols breaks loose and runs away from the officers, and then describing images of Nichols being restrained and beaten by 5 officers at a suburban intersection. The unsettling footage will likely generate a wave of national outrage and add to call for police reform. Mostly peaceful protests were already taking places in cities across the country Friday night. The video shows different angles of Nichols being pepper sprayed, kicked in the head, while being restrained, punched and struck multiple times with a baton. The first body camera video shows a police officer approaching a car stopped at a red light with his gun drawn while Nichols is being forcefully pulled out and pushed to the ground by another officer. An officer threatened to break his hands if he doesn't put them away. As the officers scream and try to restrain him, Nichols remained relatively calm. "Okay, I'm on the ground," he says. "You guys are doing a lot. I'm just trying to go home." The officers continue to push Nichols on the ground when the officers wearing a body camera pulls out his taser gun and pointing at Nichols' leg. Soon after, another officer sprays him, and that is when Nichols seemed to break loose and run down the street. A second video taken from an elevated street surveillance camera shows officers restraining, beating Nichols at a different location at a suburban intersection. The video, which has no sound, shows 2 officers holding Nichols on the ground when a third officer approached and kicked Nichols in the face twice. A 4th officer deploys a retractable baton and begins beating Nichols, hitting him in the back. Nichols stands up and stumbles while being held by 2 officers when another one punches him in the face. The third video shows body cam footage and audio of the beating after officers detain Nichols at the intersection while he is being restrained on the ground. The officers wearing the camera pepper spray Nichols repeatedly. "Mom, mom, mom," Nichols screams as an officer yells, "Give me your hands." The officers wearing the body camera step away from Nichols, breathing heavily, seeming affected by the pepper spray. He then approached the officers restraining Nichols and deployed his retractable baton. "Watch out," he warns the other officers. "I'm going to baton the you." He yells at Nichols, hitting him 3 times, puncturing each blow. "Give us your hand." The crack of the baton is audible in the video. The 4th video shows body footage of an officer chasing and knocking Nichols to the ground at the intersection. At that 1 minute and 37 mark, the video is almost entirely observed. The cameras seem to be blocked by something, but there is still audio, and Nichols can be heard screaming "Mom" in the background. The police keep shouting, "Give me your hands, lay back, put your hands back, lay flat." Nichols gag and retract, apparently struggling, trying to catch a breath, and one of the officers says, "Breathe, man." The view is obstructed for about 4 minutes, and at some point there is the sound of handcuffs clicking. "Get him up," one of the officers says. Officers can be seen gathering at the intersection with police lights, and Nichols sitting on the street with his back against a gray car, his hands behind him. An officer shines a flashlight on his face a couple of times, and Nichols seems to be bleeding from the side of his head. Following the release of the video, Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner Jr. announced Friday night that 2 deputies who had responded to the scene of Nichols' arrest has been relieved of duty. Bonner said that an internal investigation has been launched to determine if the deputies violated any policies. A Sheriff Department spokesperson refused to identify the deputies when reached by CBS News, only disclosing that they were on paid leave. The 5 former Memphis police officers were part of a Department Scorpion Union, which stands for Street Crime Operation to restore peace in our neighborhoods. The crime suppression Scorpion team patrolled in groups, and at times used justified low-level traffic stops as a way to find violent criminals, drugs, or weapons, according to the department. Scorpion has been inactive since the Nichols arrest, police said on Saturday. The department confirmed that the unit has been permanently deactivated. Authorities, members of Nichols' families, and their attorneys were shown the video before Friday release. The 5 officers fired over Nichols' death is Tadarius Beans, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mill Jr., and Justin Smith. Has been charged with second-degree murder, aggravated assault, official misconduct, and other offenses. Lawyers for Martin and Mill said their clients will plead not guilty.
When I wake up, I feel cozy, yeah. Can you hold up? Don't need no coffee yet. Got no makeup. How do you look so fine? Bust up, bust up. How did I make you mine?